Hey folks, this is John, and we are back for another episode of Shoppe-Talk. On this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about stringing and restringing your guitar. So when do we change our strings on our guitar? Well, that's a kind of a variable answer that we get just about every day here at the shop. And it does matter. It's one of those things that a lot of people overlook. Strings do deteriorate. They get worse the more they're played for multiple reasons. One, metal fatigues. Number two, you're going to get some of the dead skin cells, oils, and dirt that kind of build up, and they're going to affect the string's performance. So it is always a good idea to change those strings. Different strings are going to last longer than others, but on average, we kind of recommend telling people anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, upwards of 2 months is pretty standard to change strings on. Everybody's going to get a little bit different, and I get a lot of people that'll say, yeah, but I never play my strings. The same thing's going to happen. If you're not playing your guitar, that metal still is going to be affected by humidity, stuff in the air, dirt, all that kind of stuff is going to build up on them, so it is going to affect its quality. When strings get old, they don't have the same bright character, and they actually start to lose their tuning. They won't hold as well because the tensile strength is not going to be as strong on those. Now, I've got a whole bunch of different strings here that I kind of grabbed just to kind of show an assortment of different ones. A basic string like this is made of a phosphor bronze. Now, it has a core wire that is steel and then is wound on top of it with phosphor bronze, giving it a character. Another one that I like a lot are these strings right here. Again, phosphor bronze. This one has a different core wire. There's so many different variables in that that you can kind of get. But the big difference there is going to be in string gauges. Beginners might want to start with an extra light or maybe a light. And then there's a medium gauge. If you're a heavy player, hard player, you want to lean on a medium gauge. If you're a lighter finger picker or you like bending strings a little bit more and like the comfort of it, a light gauge might be perfect for you. Then we have stuff that's kind of hit the market recently that's kind of changed a lot of the game for a lot of people, and that's coated strings. Coated strings are going to be very similar to a standard string, except they now have a coating on them to help protect them against those things that we talked about. Water and moisture, and well, water and moisture is the same thing, but dirt and oils and those kind of things are not going to be able to get to that material as easily, so they tend to last about twice as long, and there's quite a few examples of those. Newer materials like nickel bronze have been coming out, different formulas of metal to give you a different tone in the same gauges. Again, once you find a gauge that you really like, it's then kind of fun to experiment with different alloys of metals and see what really fits your guitar. Different guitars will have a different kind of tone for different types of strings. Another one that we see a lot of are nylon strings. Now, there are a lot more strings now that are easier to play and more comfortable to play in lighter gauges on steel, where I know many years ago a lot of people would say when you start out you want to start with a nylon gauge string, or a nylon string, sorry, because they're softer. If you have a nylon string guitar, great idea to use nylon strings because it does give it a different type of tone. I don't necessarily think it is an important thing for you to have to always start with nylon strings even on a steel string guitar. That can be definitely set up with different strings and different setups. But like I said, on average, plan on changing your strings every 2 months or so, a little longer if you've got a coated string. But it is a great idea to make sure that your guitar is in tip-top shape and sounds as good as it does. Once you change those strings, if they've been on there for a long time, you'll recognize it makes a big difference. So make sure to do that, and thanks for watching Shoppe-Talk.